Welcome back. YouTube with Jim Traficant. You evidently clicked on to YouTube and typed in Jim Traficant channel. And I keep repeating that because I want you to tell your neighbors that this might be the only way I have to reach you. And I don't know if there's even enough time left to do this for me to reach anybody. I've been talking about what I think is wrong with the country. And yes, I do, not because I'm running. I think Congress has got to be changed dramatically. Some of those people are so dumb, they could throw themselves at the ground and miss. Worthless as tits on a boar hog. Now, I can't be more direct than that. Because they keep on, you're going to get more and more stimulus, more and more government. You're going to be mandated to buy many things, not just health care. As I talked about earlier, I said, we've got to repeal the 16th Amendment, abolish the Internal Revenue Service, take a lot of this regulatory burden off our backs, make our companies able to make a profit so they'll stay in the country. But is that the only entity that should go? Why do we need a Department of Education? Tell me. Why do we need a Department of Energy? Tell me. If you'll recall, the Department of Energy was created because of the gas lines in the 70s. They had but one goal, one duty, to reduce our dependence on foreign oil. It's now coming near 2011, we are more dependent on foreign oil than we were in the 70s. What do we need them for? What do you need a Department of Education for? Oh, you might need a monitoring group to go out and make sure the state's complying with certain federal requirements, but basically the states and local communities should run their schools. To tell you how bad it is, I want you to just think of this. I don't care how you stand on the issue. Just think about it. In God we trust is on our money. In God we trust is on many of our buildings. But the only time you can find God's name in a school in America is when it's taken in vain. That's what all these three-piece suit intellectuals have given us. Think about that. If we want to talk about America, let's look at that issue of schools. So I'm not a big guy out here preaching to you, like some religious fanatic or some great spiritual guy. But I do believe, to get back to the basics, a school without God is a school that invites the devil, and we got it. We got murder, rape, drugs in our schools. You can have study courses on devil worship. But God's not allowed. Department of Education gave us that, huh? We'll say, well, not so, Jim. We have a Supreme Court. Listen, the Supreme Court is the biggest bunch of political appointees in history. Lifetime jobs, a federal judge. They could be on an oxygen tank on their deathbed. If they don't resign, they still get paid. The only way you get rid of them is they die or you impeach them. Most of them come up through the Justice Department. They're just another government entity. Jefferson was right. Beware the appointment of federal judges for lifetime terms. Because they take the Constitution and mold it like clay in your hands. They did. I saw it happen personally. Twice. But I wasn't afraid of them. The trouble in America today is too many Americans deep down fear their government. The IRS proclaimed for years their biggest weapon was fear. And they actually bragged about it to Congress. Somebody should have kicked them right in the crotch right there at the committee room. I don't see fear in the Bill of Rights or Constitution, folks. It's not a word for American citizens. So where do we go? what do? We follow these lemmings. Half of them are afraid to speak up because they learn, be careful, don't speak up. A lot of them learn, say, watch yourself, look what happened to Traficant. They say, but Traficant, everybody voted to throw him out. Yeah, recorded vote, but did you know that on the voice vote, Jim Traficant would not have been removed from Congress? They knew he was railroaded. But when they had to cast that recorded vote, and all those powers that be looking at that vote, scared to death. I don't blame them. After all, they're basically representative of the American people, scared. Scared. See, I believe Congress shouldn't be the background music in a doctor's office. Congress should run the country. And I think these judges shouldn't be appointed for lifetime terms. They should come up for election. Absolutely. One of my last bills was creation of the Fair Justice Act. Listen what it did. President nominated, the Senate would confirm for a 10-year term. Director of the Fair Justice Agency had but two duties. Number one, investigate crimes within the Justice Department and the government. And number two, prosecute crimes committed by the Justice Department and other agencies. You see, folks, when they commit a crime, they investigate themselves. And Jim Traficant proved in his first trial that the mafia controlled Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Youngstown, and Boston. And Boston fell apart because of it. And the newspapers never printed that the FBI agents in Youngstown were on the payroll of the mob. When they retired, they got them big political jobs in law enforcement. That's a matter for another YouTube. I think I'll save that for my book, maybe a movie. You may be hearing about a book called America's Last Minute Man. I've been working on it. It's a compilation of my 1-minute speeches. Why I made those speeches? My God, I even talk about Lorena Bobbitt. You'll enjoy it. I want to thank you for tuning in. Go back and get the first one and go over them again. Jim Traficant, YouTube. Take care.